Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weisheit, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. And you know, our area, we know, have been having lots of issues. We've seen crime rise a little bit here in our area, and we're seeing that with a couple of different reports today. The first we have from the Houma Police Department, an update from Chief Dana Coleman, gives us some information about Houma Police announcing the arrest of Jesse Hernandez, 19-year-old of Donovan Court, for second-degree murder. So on 4/27/2022, around 16:30, Houma Police responded to the area of Main Street and Morgan Street in reference to a shooting. While responding, it was reported that a male was lying on the ground suffering from a gunshot wound. The victim, identified as Dominique Williams, 19 years old, of Thibodaux, was transported to a local medical facility where he was pronounced dead there at that facility. As the investigation continued, officers developed information that Jesse Hernandez and the victim had an ongoing feud concerning an issue that is being investigated. The issue led to a confrontation at the intersection of Main Street and Morgan Street, where Hernandez brandished a weapon, shooting Williams multiple times. Afterwards, he fled the scene in an unknown direction. Later during the day, Houma Police detectives received information that Jesse Hernandez wanted to turn himself in and met at the police department. At this point, Jesse Hernandez was arrested for second-degree murder, and he was transported to the Terrebonne Parish Criminal Justice Complex to be booked and jailed to await bond or court. And again, this is an ongoing investigation, and further information may be released as it develops. And so that is one of the stories that we have from HPD, again, Houma Police Department. We have another story that involves some of the kids in the area because of the proximity to where it was, and so we'll share that story with you now. Houma Police Department announced that the arrest of a Cody Walker, 32 years old, of Josephine Street, for terrorizing, illegal carrying of a weapon, trespassing, and several warrants for failure to appear after his actions caused a lockdown at St. Francis School. On 4/27/22, shortly before 1 p.m., Houma Police responded to the 300 block of Verrett Street in reference to a male walking with what appeared to be two long rifles. While responded, officers made contact with witnesses within the area who stated the suspect in question was making threatening statements concerning anyone that approached him. Immediately, contact was made with officials at the school who were already aware and placed the school on lockdown. As the investigation continued, Houma Police, accompanied by Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office, surrounded the area and were directed to an abandoned residence on Verrett, where the suspect was seen entering with the weapons. Taking this into consideration, officers checked the residence and made contact with the subject, identifying him as Cody Walker, and took him into custody. Cody Walker was found to be in possession of the two rifles mentioned. Upon closely viewing the rifles, they were discovered to be pellet rifles. While in custody, Houma Police learned Walker had outstanding warrants for failure to appear. He was subsequently arrested for the aforementioned charges surrounding the incident at St. Francis School and transported to the Terrebonne Parish Criminal Justice Complex to be booked and jailed. In addition, Houma Police would like to commend officials at St. Francis School for their promptness in locking down the school to protect our children. They would also like to thank the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office for their assistance, as well as the citizens within the community for relaying information to law enforcement of the suspect's whereabouts. And again, we appreciate the fact that these two law enforcement agencies, both Houma Police Department and Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office, worked very closely together to get two different situations and handled them very quickly, very efficiently, and they maintained the safety after they identified a problem. In the first story, we hear about what may or may not be some gang-related activity. It's still an ongoing investigation where an individual was shot and killed, a 19-year-old shot and killed, and someone else arrested for that crime. And so we're thankful for that. But we, as citizens, need to be aware of some of this activity. It is very important to be able to report any of these incidents that take place. In the second story, it's very important to keep in mind that the reaction by both of these law enforcement agencies, and much like they mentioned in the press release, the very prompt reaction by the administration and staff at St. Francis de Sales School maintain the safety of all of those individuals. They went on lockdown. They were able to make sure that they took care of their own safety and the safety of all of the children that are there in downtown Houma at St. Francis de Sales School. So again, some really good outcomes because of their prompt and very efficacious responses to these situations. And so if in fact you find that there is a situation or an issue, you can always call Houma Police Department, 985-873-6371, or Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office at 876-2500, or you can call Crime Stoppers Bayou Region at 1-800-743-7433. If in fact you are able to do that online, you can go to www.crimestoppersbr, that's Bayou Region.org, or you can use their P3 Tips app, and you can just download that app in your phone and make a report that way. You can do it individually, you can do that anonymously, and they can follow up on those tips. And so again, our community is much safer because of the prompt and quick reaction to these kinds of situations. And you know, we always hear about stories in lots of places all over the country about difficulty with law enforcement and how people may have problems. Well, I can tell you, we should be very, very proud of Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office, be very proud of Houma Police Department for what they did in the last couple of days, keeping our citizens safe. And that will do it for this particular first segment of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A lot more Bayou Time as we continue.